Alrighty, UFC no change just took place, and I'm here to give you the breakdown, the takeaway from every single fight, my thoughts and opinions based on my picks. I think I went 6 and 7? 6, okay, bro. Anyways, Jesus Christ. Did I actually go 6-7? I'll fucking find out in post credits. As always, I'll have the official numbers at the end when I'm breaking down the main event. Normally, I break this down on YouTube to make, or on Google to make it easy. However, for some reason, it's just not working. It's not bringing up the matchup. So we're here on the UFC site. So they might have some things wrong. Regardless, okay, we're gonna break this down. I'm gonna try to speed run it. Terrence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez is taking place. I'm not a huge boxing guy, but I'm gonna watch it because it's a good fight, I guess, and I want to enjoy my night. Okay, sue me. But after this, there's going to be a 2-week break. I'm going to have videos. If you feel like sticking around, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, like the video. Let's get into the breakdown. Rodrigo Dat versus Daniel Donchenko. I picked Donchenko. I don't know who the favorite was. It was the Ukrainian. Yeah, so I picked the Ukrainian favorite because he's Ukrainian. Yeah, I picked them because it's debut, and I don't give a fuck about debuts. I'm a UFC fan. I don't watch, like, bum fights. I wait till they're in the UFC and see how they do in the UFC. But yeah, I got this pick right. We move on to what? I thought it was Montserrat. What is Monte? What the fuck is this? Okay, I'm just going to call her Montserrat Randon because that's what everyone calls her. Versus Elise Pereira. I always do coin flips for my women's fights. Right hand on the Bible. That's my left hand. Right hand on the Bible, even though I'm not religious. And that's mainly because I don't give a fuck about women's fights. But I ended up agreeing with the coin. Coin went 1-1 on the card. But I got this one right. I agreed with the coin here completely. Mainly because, bro, Elise Pereira, Alex Pereira is just going to be disappointed. What can you do? No, that's obviously fake news. Even though Dominic Cruz, I believe, mentioned Elise Pereira being fucking Alex Pereira's sister. Like, what are we doing, guys? Anyways, at least, like, do research, please. But yeah, Pereira's just a generic Brazilian last name. It's on, like, every fucking Brazilian. It's Pereira, Ferreira, Silva. Like, it's literally like some of the most generic last names you can get. But yeah, Montserrat got it done. I believe she won. There's an argument she won every round, in my opinion, better than Alice getting a 2-1. Alice just looked gun shy. She looked like what happens when you watch Vinicius Oliveira fight and you want to imitate what Vinicius Oliveira does, but you've never actually been in a fight. I know this chick is 6-0, and she's 19, and she got pushed to the UFC, all this. Brother, what the fuck are we doing? She literally looked like she never received a single strike in her life. And Rendon is terrible, okay? Women's fighters are terrible. Rendon is, like, in the lower tier. Bro, what the fuck are we doing? This chick is literally double her age. It was grandma versus... This is like I gotta whoop the young whippersnapper type of performance. And that's what she did. Elise Pereira fucking sucks. Cut her from the UFC. She's 19. Let her finish high school. And then we can talk about UFC, okay? Let her fucking go to college and waste like 2 years in college and get herself in debt so that she can come crawling to the UFC or something. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Jesus Christ. And she literally only had success because she was big. Like, if you remove her size advantage, she's fucking terrible. She whiffs everything, she doesn't respond to punches well, and she just runs on the back foot the whole time. Away from a midget. A midget. This was literally like watching a fucking light heavyweight run away from a flyweight in the men's division. That's what this was. Depressing performance from the women, as normal. Montserrat Randon gets it done. I got the pick right. We move on. Costa versus Alden Correa. I accidentally clicked on the name. Okay. I went with Costa because I don't know who Correa is. Turns out in the breakdown he trains with Joshua Van. Hey. New aura has been achieved for Joshua Van. It's the Joshua Van effect. What can you do? When Joshua Van helps train a fighter, it's just GG for his opponent. But, yeah, Costa looked pretty good. This was like a thick Pantoja, who fights like Alexander Hernandez, versus Sneeko, who's kind of built like Rolly Romero. You know, that's kind of what this was. I would say Costa is actually the, like, if we're talking skill for skill, I genuinely think Costa's the better fighter. Costa had something really weird happen to him in round 2. I don't know what the judges were scoring this before it was, like, round 3 cooked time. But round 1 and 2, I thought it was 1-1. I believe, if I remember, I had Rolly Romero over here win round 1 and then Costa win round 2. But it was pretty close, both rounds. And then round 3, it was really weird. At the end of round 2, Costa had his fucking toe, like, it wasn't, like, broken or anything. It might have been, like, dislocated, but it was, like, his fucking, the crease in his pinky toe, it was, like, really bloody, and I think it started bleeding a lot. I don't think he was able to walk on it properly on his left foot. And then in the fight, during the 3rd round, I think something happened to his right foot. Maybe he rolled on it or something like that. Brian Ortega'd it up. Rolling his ankle, but something happened with his feet and he just couldn't stand, and he literally just covered up and got fucking finished. Alden Correa looked pretty good. Good enough for, like, if this guy gets like a Jose, whoever the fuck just fought, short notice, somebody, was it Charles Jordan? No, that was Loner Kavanaugh. Like, I would pick Alden Correa over Loner Kavanaugh, you know? That's a close fight. That's a pick'em fight. You know, but yeah, Costa, it's kind of tough. Gotta see more. Make him fight some cans. Make him fight like a Jimmy Flick or some shit. See what happens. Just make him fight like more people, I guess, to get a better idea of who this guy is. Because I don't think he's bad, but flyweights a steep division to do well. Moving on, we have Zachary Reese versus everyone's favorite criminal. Second favorite, right beside John Jones. Cedric Dumbass. I went with Zachary Reese. This was a no contest, so I'm not counting this as a win or a loss because it's a no contest. You could argue Zachary should have been awarded the win because he nutshotted a criminal and probably made it so Cedric Dumas cannot reproduce. So in hindsight, you know, this was kind of all part of the plan. All right, we need to start rewarding this type of behavior. You know, it was an illegal shot, but I mean, it was for a good cause, guys, okay? Wrong action for the right cause, as they say, okay? So, Zachary Reese, in my opinion, should have been awarded TKO. Cedric Dumas, yeah, just cut him from the sport. He's 3-3. He just got nutshotted, and he's a criminal. The ankle monitor probably got strapped right on after this fight. Yeah, I mean, he might actually have a ruptured testicle or something, so he might actually not be able to reproduce. I will say, early on, this was pretty much as I predicted. Cedric Dumas kind of came out with something to prove. He was getting really fast, really explosive, and then he gets nutshotted. Zachary Reese fucking sucks, though, I will say that. Zachary Reese is prone to being a victim. You know, like, Carlos Prates, this is middleweight, I know, but, like, Carlos Prates is fighting, like, McCall Olin-Jacek, I think, will kill Zachary Reese, and I think that's kind of the fight you want to make. If I'm McCall Olin-Jacek, I'm licking my lips at a Zachary Reese fight. This guy's prone to being a victim to, like, a fighting nerd guy. The way the fighting nerds fight, they fight victims, and they have to be able to grab their victims' limbs. You know, they grab their hands, make them move their guard around, make them feel like a bitch, and then they whoop their ass. And Zachary Reese is prone for that happening. So, yeah. Moving on, Jesus Aguilar, Luis Garul. I went with Jesus Aguilar. Not a lot of people are picking Jesus in this, and I don't like Jesus as a pick. Like, I'm not one to normally pick Jesus Aguilar. This might be the first time I've ever picked him. But the thing with Aguilar is that I know he's going to work, I know he's tough as shit, and I know he's going to try to win rounds, even though sometimes he makes it a little bit too close. And this fight was pretty much Luis Garul not able to find any success aside from, like, a right hand every once in a while. You know, like every 3 minutes he'd land one big shot, and it's like, whoa! Okay, and now Jesus Aguilar's beating his ass. You know, Luis Garul also, he's got something there. Like, he's got decent scrambles from what we saw. Jesus Aguilar's a pretty okay wrestler. But he's not really, like, the power is missing there. He's getting cracked a lot by Jesus Aguilar. Round 1 I thought was pretty clear Jesus. Round 2 I thought it was also pretty clear Jesus. I think round 3 was like the flip round that I think you could have given to either one. But I think overall I went with 3-0 Jesus. Maybe round 2 was the flip round, but I thought it was pretty clear Jesus, you know? I don't know. I just thought he was pressuring forward. He was landing more strikes on Luis. He was landing the better shots. Sometimes he'd get cracked, but it's like, Luis was getting beaten up like a punching bag the whole time, getting hugged against the cage, getting fucking taken down and shit. And when he would land a right hand, it's like, oh shit, he actually did something. But Jesus Aguilar has been doing that the whole round. You know what I mean? So I thought it was pretty clear Jesus won this very, very easily, I think. But there is a little bit of that cardio problem, I think, with Jesus. So anyone who's good at 3-rounders and bantamweight, flyweight, sorry. Holy fuck, these guys are flyweights? I forgot. God damn, they're pretty fucking big. Luis Guerrero just cut him. He's now 0-2 in the UFC. He got finished by Ode Osborne and got whooped by Jesus Aguilar. Like, what the fuck do you do with him at flyweight? Give him Alexander Costa, I guess? Like, Alessandro Costa? Like, that's pretty much the only thing I can think of. Anyways, we move on. Tatiana Suarez versus Amanda Lemos. I went with Amanda Lemos because I don't trust Tatiana Suarez. And I'll tell you this right now. The coin also went Amanda Lemos. Probably shouldn't have trusted the coin on this one. But I still don't trust Tatiana Suarez to win a fight. And that's saying something in the women's division. Like, this Tatiana Suarez is what happens when you have a Sean Woodson egg. And you inject it with a little bit of that Brian Ortega DNA. You know, it's an interesting specimen we get with Tatiana Suarez. And Amanda isn't that good, but I'll be honest, Tatiana Suarez, like, kind of lost this fight. She didn't really do anything in round 1 other than hug Amanda against the fence. And she got low kicked a few times. What are the striking numbers? 70. I feel like that's a little overblown. I don't know about that. Round 1. I don't know about these numbers. Round 3, I think, is definitely Amanda Lemos's. And I think the other 2 rounds are pretty close because Suarez was pushing her against the cage, but did nothing. Nothing against the cage. At least with something like Brian Battle, Randy Brown. Brian Battle's doing stuff in the clinch while pushing him against the cage. Or he's doing stuff while getting pushed against the cage. Suarez did none of that. Suarez got reversed a few times. Amanda Lemos also went for some chokes in round 2. She just was never really able to pull it off. Overall, this was just a shit fight. This was bottom of the barrel, like Khamzat Chimaev licking his lips in Big 2025 type of performance. It was terrible. And I do feel like Tatiana Suarez is just not reliable. She looks like she's about to quit. In round 3, it literally looked like if this is another 5-round fight, I think any women champion right now mops the floor with Tatiana Suarez. Any weight class, doesn't fucking matter. Zhang Wei, Li, Shevchenko, fucking, like, I don't understand how Tatiana Suarez has been winning fights, but yeah. Anyways, moving on to real fights. Claudio Puelles versus Joaquim Silva. I went with Claudio Puelles. I thought this fight was pretty close. Puelles is just a little bit of a BJJ nerd, but he's like a big, yeah, he's kind of like a big Chase Hooper, like a bigger Chase Hooper, you know, like a Chase Hooper that actually belongs in lightweight, you know. And I went more against Joaquim Silva because he's getting older and he typically does this thing where he can't really find a way to win the fight. He'll have one big moment and then he'll role play a punching bag for the rest of the round, or he won't defend takedowns. And round 1 I thought was pretty clear Puelles. If I remember, it was where Puelles just got a takedown on Joaquim Silva, and Joaquim Silva had no urgency to get up, no idea how to get up, and Puelles was just laying on top, I think for 4 minutes. Takedowns, is there control time here? There's no control times. Oh, that's the whole fight, hold up. Yeah. What? Oh, that was, okay. I was going to say, there was no knockdown in this fight, but yeah. Puelles just laid on him. It wasn't like a 10-8 performance, but it was a clear 10-9. Round 2 I thought was a little bit closer, probably 1-1 because Silva was doing really well in the striking, even though Puelles had a takedown, was able to push this guy against the cage. And Joaquim Silva is just Brad Tavares at lightweight. Like, he is dumb. He doesn't fight back. He doesn't know how to, like, make rounds clear. Hence why this was a split. And this round was even close, even though it was so... And here's the thing, too. Puelas, when he would get hit, would actually, like, jelly leg, was on skates, doing the fucking salsa dance. You know what I mean? But Joaquin Silva just never went in, you know? Like, he'd crack him, and then he'd just stare, stop and stare, get taken down, and be like, oh, how do I get up? Literally, there was one moment where he's being held against the cage. How do I get up, ref? And then round 3, Puelas was doing really, really well until the final, like, 30 seconds where he got cracked pretty bad. And then Joaquin Silva almost finished the fight. It looked like Puelas was knocked down pretty bad. And the follow-up shots, initially, gut reaction was, oh shit, this is bad, ref might need to step in. But when you rewatched it and you saw it in slow-mo, it was kind of just like, Joaquin Silva landed a shot, and Puelas went down, went with most of the punches, didn't really get hit by most of the punches on the ground. But they're going to credit Silva for the punches anyways. But yeah, pretty close round. Yeah, man. Damn, out of 50 strikes, 14 of them were significant. Yeah, tell me these numbers aren't rigged without telling me they're fucking not rigged. Anyways, yeah, I went with Puelas. I don't regret it. I still think there's a decent argument. He won the fight. He just choked it at the last 30 seconds. He's not that good. He's not going to be ranked. Neither will Joaquin Silva. Both of these guys are forever bums. Yeah, we move on. Yeah, there's really nothing else to say. One of these guys is an old bum, and one of these guys is a young blood bum who's just, like, waiting to get, like, Jim Millard, you know? Waiting to get Chase Hoopered, you know? Change of the guard, pass of the torch, you know? Hernandez, I think, should be looking for this fight, and we'll get to that. But moving on, Jose Medina versus Dusko Todorovic. Very heavy odds on Dusko. Don't know why, but the way this fight went, it kind of explains why. Jose Medina is just a punching bag. He throws with intent, but when are we just gonna, like, admit that 99% of the human population can throw with intent if they spent years in a fucking gym, right? But it's the people who take their career seriously, and Jose Medina doesn't. This guy's up a weight class, very clearly. He's just a fat fuck. Changing his hair color. This guy kind of looks like a different variant of Mike Tybeck Oralby. Is that just me? But yeah, Dusko Todorovic went in there with a torn ACL, apparently, and whooped this guy on the feet. And then when Jose Medina started quitting, as he does in every fight where he's lost the whole time in the UFC, Dusko just latches up the neck, gets a submission. Dusko's not a world beater or anything like that. He might be the modern day Alexander Hernandez for middleweight. That might be the new Dusko Todorovic. You know, he's really not bad. It's just sometimes he's a little chinny, and he doesn't typically throw, or he's not able to throw with 100% for very long. You know, I feel like that's his biggest weakness. But he was able to get the round 1 finish, so it worked out for him pretty well. Jose Medina cut him. He's a bum. Moving on. Santiago Luna versus Quang Lee. This was looking very This was looking very Vietnam. This was looking very good for Vietnam, undefeated. I went with Quang Lee. I just thought Quang Lee's been looking really good. His Long Zhao loss, I don't think is really that bad. That was a big fucking scrap, and he just got chinned. It is what it is. Or outworked. I can't remember if he actually got finished in that fight. I know he, like, definitely got knocked down. I can't remember. But regardless, I don't know anything about this Luna kid, so I went with a guy I trust a little bit, considering he just had a masterclass performance against Gaston Bolaños, and Gaston has shown he can deal a little bit with the grappling, but I guess he can't against Quang Lee. And then Quang Lee comes into this fight against Luna. Luna looks alright, I guess, but he got tagged really early, really fast. He might be one of these fighters that, like, takes time to, like, cook up, you know? Like, it might take him a little bit to get into the fight, but once he gets into it, that's when he starts putting on a great performance. Quang Lee came in, wobbled Luna pretty bad, had him jelly leg, dropped him, and then Luna kind of got up, and then Quang Lee just got caught going in, and he got caught one too many times going in, and he got dropped pretty bad, like 4 times. Oh, they only credited 2. I counted, I think, at least 4. Quang Lee got he got binked, and then he got back up, and he got binked, and then he got back up, and it was just like, oh, fuck, ref. You kind of gotta pity the guy, you know? So, Quang Lee got smoked. It is what it is. I got the pick wrong. We move on. Alexander Hernandez. Yeah, Luna, we haven't seen much. We need to see more. Quang Li, I think he's just forever a B-League fighter. Yeah, give him tests for prospects, I guess. Quang Li's the tester, if you will, for bantamweight. Moving on, we have Alexander Hernandez versus Diego Ferreira. I went with Diego Ferreira. I hate Hernandez. I think he's shit. I don't think he belongs on lightweight. I think he's dumb. I think he's a punching bag, and that remains true. Round 1. Diego Ferreira looked a little old out there. Makes sense. He's 40 years old. I was kind of expecting that. But he was putting the pressure on. He was putting the pepper on Hernandez. Hernandez was on the back foot getting beat up like a punching bag like he is. You know, other than 3 right hands, maybe 4 right hands in the first round, Ferreira really didn't take any damage. Kept on going for head kicks, kept missing it. But overall, it was Ferreira going in, landing a jab or a cross, getting hit by a knee or like a right hand, and then he'd land something else like a leg kick or a head kick afterwards. And yeah, overall, it was like Diego going in, getting hit, hitting, and then hitting on the way out. And overall, it was like for every 3 strikes Diego landed in round 1, I felt like, what? These are just wrong numbers. Like, what the fuck are they watching? Anyways, but yeah, every like 3 shots Diego Ferreira was landing, Hernandez would land 1 on the back foot. So I thought it was clear Diego. It was looking like a Diego masterclass, just whooping his ass for 3 rounds. In round 2, he was doing well, and then Hernandez just lands that 1 right hand, similar to the Chase Hooper, and he just puts down Diego Ferreira, and Ferreira pretty much goes out cold. The stoppage wasn't too terrible. It was a bad stoppage, but it wasn't like Jalen Turner, Bobby Green. It was more like what the fuck is the ref doing at some point when a fighter's not responding, not able to guard the shots, just call the fight. And it took them a little too long, but yeah, Ferreira got like smoked. This kind of sucks because the fall off, like this is where it starts for Carlos Diego Ferreira. But for Hernandez, he's on a streak. Somehow he just gets boxed up every round, and then he just gets a fucking KO win. Like, oh, I hate this fucking guy, man. I hate predicting his fights. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Fuck this dude. I know he's young, but in fight years, he's pretty old. Yeah, give him someone I said on this list earlier. Claudio Puelles. He could probably lose two rounds, 2.5 rounds, and then smoke him in the 3rd with a right hand, like he's been doing to everyone somehow. I don't get it. He just flukes a KO. It is what it is. Moving on, we have Kelvin Fat Fuck Gastelum missing weight at 6 pounds. Now you might be thinking, oh well, yeah, he's missed weight before at welterweight. This was middleweight. He showed up at 191 pounds. Fat fuck here. Not short notice. He had ample time. He had a whole month. I walk around at 191. Okay, I'm 5'8". I walk around 191. I'm more fucking built than Kelvin Gastelum. I'm more in shape than Kelvin Gastelum. And I'm fucking leagues away from even a goddamn amateur fight, alright? What the fuck are we doing, Kelvin Gastelum? How the fuck did this guy get a Hall of Fame fight? How do we credit this guy at all in the division for having a 50-50 record? I fucking can't with, like, Kelvin Gastelum glazers, bro. But I feel like no one glazes Kelvin Gastelum. Now that I think about it, because everyone knows how Kelvin fights now. He's just tough. If he didn't have a gifted chin, he literally would be dog shit. He would be fucking terrible if he didn't have a gifted Mexican chin. You know? Outside of his toughness, bro, I love Dustin Stoltzfus. This fight made me love Dustin Stoltzfus, even though he lost. You know? Even though it was pretty close. You could have given it to Dustin Stoltzfus. If they gave this to Dustin, I would not be pissed, even though I picked Kelvin. I knew he'd win this 29-28 or 30-27, especially after he missed weight. I'm like, oh, for sure. Like, he just used his fucking chi from Legends of Chima or whatever the fuck. You know, he found his spin jitsu with that fucking weight miss, all right? That's why he came in and missed weight, bro. He's been training his spin jitsu from Lego Ninjago, all right? This motherfucker, he came prepared. All right, he knew what was in front of him, but Stoltzfus came in round 1, swinging heat. You know, while he was on the back foot, he was on the back foot like you want someone to be. Stoltzfus fought like what the aura of Roman Dolidze was for so long. Just a guy who gets it done. because he just bites down and throws heat, you know? And Stoltzfus actually has technique with most of his strikes. He does get sloppy and he does gas pretty fast. But bro, when this guy gets like rocked or wobbled, he's got some of the best composure. Like, this guy gets cracked and he just stares at you and he's getting ready for his next combo. Like, he didn't just almost go fucking out. Lights out 5 seconds ago. Like, this guy's fucking, bro, he's a G, bro. So Dustin Stoltzfus, I think it was Jacob from We Want Picks Lock of the Week. Good pick, good pick. Honestly, could have won if this wasn't in Noche. If this was like Las Vegas, they probably give it to Stoltzfus. But round 1, I thought was pretty clear Stoltzfus. Round 2, you could have given to Stoltzfus because Stoltzfus was doing really well early. First minute, he was like leg kicking. You know, body kick was doing well for Stoltzfus in round 1 and 2. Just overhand right. Sometimes they'd be way too telegraphed. Like he'd like a Y iota stance from a little too far with the right hand. But for the most part, it was a great performance. And then about halfway through round 2, he gets cracked pretty bad by Calvin, and you start seeing Calvin like pepper him, like Calvin style, chin up, getting fucking body kicked. You know, same stance, getting leg kicked, not really feeling it, and just being able to throw back every time he gets clipped clean on the chin. Calvin kind of is one of these fighters now who's dog shit in round 1, but he'll typically win round 2 and 3, or have really close 2 and 3 rounds. He like requires a gassed out opponent to be good, but he's just a fat fuck. He probably does beat some unranked middleweights, but seriously, cut him. We're cutting Brian Battle. I get it, he moved up a weight class, but we're cutting Brian Battle, a guy 7-1 in the whole promotion, because he missed weight like twice. How many fucking times has Kelvin Gastelum missed weight? How many fucking times has he ruined a fight? You know, like, come on, man. I draw the line at Kelvin Gastelum missing 6 pounds at middleweight. You know, that's like if Brian Battle went up to heavyweight and missed fucking 6 pounds. Okay. That's what the comparison is here. You know, Kelvin Gastelum's arguably a lightweight, you know, if he actually locked in and tried to take his career seriously. But, yeah, Stoltzfus, rocky round 2, but he ended up, like, he got cracked pretty bad, and he was bleeding out of his nose. His nose might have broken round 2, but he ended up getting top position on Kelvin. He took down Kelvin a few times. It's a pretty good performance from Stoltzfus. And then round 3, similar situation. It was kind of just a back and forth. Stoltzfus just sort of looked like he kind of lost the pop, but Kelvin kept on not throwing, and he would just stand and stare and get hit, throw and miss. But they gave round 3 to Kelvin Gastelum, I guess because of the pressure and because Stoltzfus' nose looked pretty fucked up. He did get cracked a few times in round 3, to be fair. But, yeah, Stoltzfus is a gamer. He's always going to be live in every single fight. Probably going to be, like, the favorite, or the underdog that most people are going to be betting on. This guy's sick. I'm going to be rooting for Stoltzfus in every single fight after this. I don't care who he goes against. This guy's fucking sick. But yeah, moving on. We have Rafa Garcia versus Jared Gordon. This fight pisses me off. I'm not even a Jared Gordon glazer. I don't think Jared Gordon's that good. I do think he beat Paddy Pimblett. I do think he's been doing really well. I do think he was beating Bobby Green until the head clash. And I do think he's been on the back end from some robberies. Round 1. The rigs were in, bro. The rigs were in. Okay. Round 1. Jared Gordon's genuinely whooping Rafa Garcia. Gets tagged a few times. Every time Jared got tagged, he's landing 4 or 5 big shots that are wobbling, making Rafa Garcia wins, cracking Rafa Garcia. You know, making him about, you know, you see the gum shield, like he's taking a lot of damage. And Rafa Garcia was getting boxed up pretty bad in round 1. Round 2 was a little bit more competitive, and they were going back and forth, but at some point in round 2, it was like after the first minute, I don't know what the fuck happened, but it was like an Amin Zahabi, Jose Aldo moment, where Jared Gordon went from 100% speed, prime Jared Gordon ass speed, to just 10% speed, slow, sloppy, no defense. Like, it was such a performance where it's just like, oh, damn, I'm actually approaching 40 years old. What the fuck happened? We went from, like, a guy who's a ranked contender who gives, like, Mauricio Huffy a tough fight in round 1. And then by halfway in round 2, I'm looking at a guy who doesn't even belong in the UFC. What the fuck? You know? it was kind of a holy shit, he don't have it no more. And then round 3, when he got finished, he was doing well. He got cracked pretty bad going in on... he wasn't actually doing well. Hoffa Garcia was doing pretty well. Even though every time Hoffa would get hit, he'd wince. He'd typically throw 4 or 5 shots back. But overall, Hoffa Garcia was getting cracked. He was getting wobbled. He got a takedown or 2 on Jared Gordon. Not really that impressive of takedowns or anything like that. Jared Gordon got back to his feet, everything like that. Reverse positions, shit like that. You know the vibes. I genuinely think round 1 and 2 go to Jared Gordon. I think round 2 is arguable Hoffa Garcia's, but I thought round 1 was very clear Jared Gordon. I get Jared Gordon got knocked out in the 3rd. 2 of the 3 judges had this scored 2-0 Hoffa Garcia going into the 3rd. It was just rigged. Jared Gordon was fucked. I don't know if he was poisoned on the walkout. I don't know if there was Mexicans in the back for Noche just fucking taking a sledgehammer to Jared Gordon's kneecap, and that's why he came out with a cast. Like, I don't know what the fuck was going on, but this was like one of the most rigged fights I've ever seen. Regardless of whatever happens after this, Jared Gordon, I think the downfall starts now. And then on top of that, Hoffa Garcia is fucking dog shit. Alexander Hernandez, Jared Gordon, I would pick Jared Gordon. Before this fight, I'd pick Jared Gordon 100%. I don't know now, you know, it's a little bit questionable. But, like, Jared Gordon against fucking Mateus Rebecki, Chris Duncan, like, those are fun fights that are like, ooh, I don't know. You know, he could, like, Jared Gordon's got odds. Hoffa Garcia gets slaughtered, okay? Jared Gordon against Paddy Pimblett, where he very clearly won the fight. Paddy Pimblett slaughters Hoffa Garcia. Literally round 1 sub. Or round 1 KO, to be honest with you. Hoffa Garcia is shit. Striking defense is terrible. He's slow. He's older. He's getting older. He's like 33, 34. Like, bro, Hoffa Garcia is terrible. This guy will be dog shit. He will lose his next fight against any named opponent. Any, like, guy of name, he loses to. Guaranteed. Chase Hooper, Hernandez, Jim Miller, like, all of these guys beat Hoffa Garcia, I'm convinced. Hoffa Garcia's look shit in every single fight. Moving on. Rob Font, David Martinez. I genuinely think this is a robbery. I had 2-1 Rob Font. I thought round 1 was very clear Rob Font. The live, like, what are these numbers? Where are they pulling this from? Are the people doing the stacks Mexican or something? What the fuck? Round 1, Rob Font was pressuring this kid the whole time. And it was a very, like, first round jitters. He's not really able to land anything. And he's just twitching. And he's wincing at everything. And he's just running away the whole time. Like, it was very round 1 jitters. And Martinez, I felt like, didn't land a goddamn fucking strike that was clean on Rob Font. These 11 strikes, I think, are, like, what? What are we talking about, man? What? I felt like round 1, Rob Font was just finding the distance, tagging Martinez, doing really well in round 1. I thought he very clearly won. Round 2, more rigged numbers. What the fuck is this? Round 2 was one of the most clear Rob Font rounds. Or it was the most clear Rob Font round. This guy whooped his ass, start to finish, in the round. Martinez barely found anything. He was wincing at shots. He gets cut above his fucking eyebrow. He gets a really bad cut on his forehead, I think. Or was it near his eye? It might have been near his eye. But regardless, he got cut, visibly damaged, was on the back foot, getting his ass peppered the whole time by Rob Font's jab, by Rob Font's right hand. Rob Font held him against the cage for a few seconds. Where are they, like... How is this not rigged? You're telling me there was 20 insignificant strikes from a guy who only throws explosive shots? Like, what are we talking about? Like, seriously, this is... Jesus Christ, this was just rigged. And then round 3, I thought it was obviously a very clear Martinez round. Especially the way it ended, because Rob Font... He got cracked really, really bad in the final minute. Other than the final minute, he was also just losing exchanges. But overall, yeah, round 3, it was just like Martinez pretty much start to finish. Rob Font just like, he was getting tagged, he was getting hit a lot more. Martinez was looking fast, he was looking fresh. It looked like he just got into, like, fight mode, you know? Like, he looks like he finally locked in, and he knocked down Rob Font pretty bad. And then he proceeded to land about 50 back of the head shots, blatant back of the head shots. This guy's a dirty cheat. He's going to get away with it. Especially in Mexico at UFC Noche for no fucking reason. It wasn't in UFC Mexico, but I just mean because people are there. Mexican judges, Mexican fans, everything like that. So they're, you know, just saying, right? This fight felt like there's a heavy bias towards the Mexican fighter at Noche. And I thought Rob Font got robbed. It is what it is. Rob Font still, I think Rob Font, he might go the Dan Ige route where he just gets chinned by an old unk, you know, but Rob Font's also becoming an old unk, so this might be where Rob Font starts to fall off a little bit, fall out of the rankings, you know, modern day Pedro Munoz, maybe, you know, but I do think Rob Font's still pretty aight. He really does take off one round in almost every fight. I thought Gene Matsumoto, like, did better than Martinez. I don't know how the fuck they scored it for Martinez, but Martinez gets it done, and now we get a guy who has 2 fights in the UFC in the top 10 of bantamweight for some fucking reason, who's just gonna choke it in his next fight because it's just too early for him to be there. Moving on, main event, I got right. I don't give a fuck. I could have went 0-12 on this whole event, and then I got the main event right. Oh my god, it feels so good. I feel so fucking good now that Diego Lopez has won. As predicted, Diego Lopez by round 2 KO. I fucking called it perfectly. The end of round 2, or start of round 3. Diego Lopez. It is too soon for Gene Silva. Gene Silva has fought nothing but victims, like all the other fighting nerds. Diego Lopez is not a fucking victim. And this whole time, Gene Silva trying to aura farm, Gene Silva trying to taunt him, talk with him, you know? Where'd that talking go when he got fucking laid on in round 1? Absolutely masterclass in round 1 by Diego Lopez. Some people on the Twitter live fucking UFC thing that they were bringing up. 10-8 Lopez. That's my king. We got it fucking done, babe. That's what we're talking about. Hey, Pedo Stash gets it done, okay? Pedo Stash aura, okay? Don Fry aura, all right? With that mustache. But Gene Silva has beat no one but victims and dog shit fighters in featherweight. Bryce Mitchell is a bantamweight who was up at featherweight. We know that. He fought Drew Dober and took 3 rounds to get a doctor stoppage. He didn't even finish Drew Dober. Charles Jourdain having a lot of success with the grappling against a guy like Gene Silva. And if Charles Jourdain, hey, the true best Canadian fighter, is having success, okay, you bet your sweet bippy, alright, Diego Lopez is going to have fucking success with the grappling. This fight was a very patient Diego Lopez. Normally, Lopez goes in there and he's like, I'm going to fucking die or I'm killing you. And he goes in there and he swings with a bunch of really fast combos. This was him waiting for a mistake to be made by Gene Silva, capitalizing on the mistake. Did Diego Lopez move his head? No. It might still be stuck in concrete to this day. However, Lopez doesn't need to care because he's just got a chin from the fucking gods. Okay? So, he was granted a gladiator's chin and he was able to go in there, survive Gene Silva early because Gene Silva's a midget for featherweight. Gene Silva's only fought other midgets at featherweight. And Lopez goes in there like an actual real contender at featherweight. Whoops his ass in round 1. Round 2, oh, he gets clipped a few times. Oh, Gene Silva keeps on going for a spinning elbow. That's like his 5th spinning elbow. And guess what? All right. Diego Lopez uses his Sharingan, copies that fucking spinning elbow, lands it clean on Gene Silva, puts him out cold as he goes down to the canvas. And Lopez goes in for the fucking finish. Finishes the fight. Bloody mess on the floor. Fighting nerds have now all been fraud checked in the UFC. The 4th horsemen have all died. They're done. I didn't want to root on their downfall because I like the fighting nerds. But we're here, baby. Yeah, Diego Lopez. That's my king. We get it done, baby. But yeah, this fight, this card sucked ass. Main event was sick. Mainly because I picked Diego Lopez. A lot of people were against me. For the most part, most of this card fucking sucked. This was probably one of the worst events of the year. Big W, Diego Lopez. Bro, he went 5 rounds with Volk, and you're telling me Gene Silva's gonna fucking chin him? Are you kidding me? Do you watch Diego Lopez fight? Well, he didn't finish fucking Brian Ortega. Yeah, he did. He literally killed him by execution in round 1, and woke him up just so he could prove he could beat his ass for another 14 minutes. That's how much aura Diego Lopez has, you know? Hey, you bet. Oh, man, I'm so happy Diego Lopez won this one, man. He was such a big underdog, too. I don't know why it's minus 238. He was a massive underdog. Whooped Gene Silva, as predicted. So, yeah, that's been UFC Noche. We're on, I think, a 2-week break. I'll still do predictions and everything like that. I'm going to have content coming out through the week. We don't take fucking weeks off, baby, over here on the channel. All about passion, baby. So I'm going to keep uploading. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, I want to thank you for watching. And as always, I hope you have a good day.